Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody had a great day today. Thank you all for being here. So let's get started. So my name is Piccola Abely, and I am the Director of Healthy Learning at Women for a Healthy Environment. And I am joined by Samantha Hernandez, our Healthy Learning Program Manager. Together, we will be walking you through the Healthy Schools Recognition Program, an initiative that celebrates schools for taking steps towards creating healthier, safer learning environments. And let me share my screen so you can all see my PowerPoint. It's not at the beginning. All right, there we go. So, Women for a Healthy Environment, or WE, is a nonprofit organization that empowers underserved communities to build resilience, promote equity, especially in schools and early learning centers. But we also have a homes and policy department as well. We focus on creating healthier environments for children through initiatives rooted in scientific research. So today's webinar will cover why healthy schools are crucial for student success and how your school can get involved in our Healthy Schools Recognition Program. And on this slide, you can see some of our funders on here. We're funded by the US EPA, Hillman Foundation, Grable Foundation, Heinz endowments. Next slide. So we're going to start to talk about the mission and objectives of this program and why healthy schools are crucial for student success. So why healthy schools? So healthy schools are the foundation of successful students, teachers, and staff. The environments in which they learn can have a profound impact on their health, well-being, and academic success. And research has shown that children spend over 1,000 hours per year in school buildings, making the quality of these environments crucial for their development. And you have seen that many schools are located in older buildings with outdated infrastructure, which increases the risk of exposure to environmental hazards like poor air quality, lead, and radon. These issues can directly impact a student's health, their attendance, and academic performance. So Healthy Schools, PA, was created to address environmental risk factors in school environments. Our mission is to create healthier spaces where children can grow and learn free from harmful exposures. So in this next slide, here's an example of a school building, and around it you can see various environmental hazards. So schools can face a multiple of environmental challenges. These challenges can range from air quality, lead in drinking water, radon. All of these can negatively affect a student's health and academic performance. Schools should be a safe place that promotes focus, attention, and overall wellness. However, many of these environmental hazards can threaten the quality of these learning environments. So we're going to do a little roundabout of these different environmental hazards. So we have the PCBs. These are toxic industrial chemicals that were commonly used in building materials, like light fixtures and caulking before they were banned in 1970. So a lot of schools were built before the 70s. They could still very well have this. We also have lead found in paint, dust, and soil. We'll get into more detail about this later, but just so you know, lead exposure is a serious concern in many older buildings. And it's not only found in the paint and the dust, but it can also be found in the soil around the school. And unfortunately, even low levels of lead exposure can have significant consequences on children's development. And in a few slides, we'll get into the health impacts. Another one hazard that we have is radon. Radon is unfortunately invisible, and it is a naturally occurring gas that can seep into buildings, particularly old ones. And Pennsylvania has some of the highest levels of radon in the country, and it is the second leading cause of lung cancer. Air quality. Um, Poor air quality could come from a variety of factors, and we'll get into a little more detail about that as well. But ventilation and improper maintenance of HVAC systems can definitely make matters worse. And we want to try to keep air quality as best we can to reduce respiratory issues like asthma and allergies. So mold is another huge problem, especially in areas that are prone to dampness, like around windows or in bathroom. Mold can also trigger allergies and asthma and respiratory infections. And it's important to address any signs of moisture or leaks immediately. And cleaning products right here. So cleaning products that are used in schools can most likely contain toxic ingredients that can affect the health of students and staff, especially those that already have asthma or certain chemical sensitivities. Opting for third-party certified products can help reduce the use of harmful chemicals while continuing to maintain a clean and healthy environment. Let's see. Last two, we have artificial turf playing surfaces. A lot of schools have artificial turf fields. These can contain heavy metals and other carcinogens. So it's best to have a natural playing field. And then pest management as well. Pest infestations in schools can introduce allergens like rodent droppings and cockroach dander. And traditional pest control methods usually involves harmful pesticides. Instead, we would promote integrated pest management, which is a safer and more sustainable approach, which focuses on long-term prevention by limiting pest habitats where they live and using non-toxic methods first. So that's a brief overview of some of the environmental hazards that are found in schools. Now I will get into some of the more health impacts that come with those environmental hazards. So indoor air quality, we touched on this. But indoor air quality can often be overlooked, but it does still have significant health impacts. So studies have shown that indoor air pollution can be 2 to 5 times higher than outdoor levels. And this is because the air is coming in and it's not getting out, it's getting trapped inside. So poor indoor air quality can trigger asthma, respiratory illness. And if you're having an asthma attack or you're sick, then you're going to miss school. Yeah, so studies have shown that students exposed to poor indoor air quality can experience reduced concentration, lower test scores, and an overall decline in academic performance. So for example, a study by the Environmental Protection Agency found that improving ventilation in schools can increase test scores by 5 to 10%. And just so you know, some common sources some common sources of indoor pollution. These can be dust, pests like the cockroach, pesticides, which you're using to kill the bugs, dampness, which then creates the mold, toxic cleaning materials and building materials, and in general, poor ventilation. So if the air isn't getting circulated throughout the school from outside, it can interfere with student and staff performance and increase their asthma attacks and absenteeism. Oh, and on this slide, you can see that air quality, both indoor and outdoor, play a critical role in the health and well-being of students and staff. Unfortunately, schools face risk from both sources of pollution, and addressing both indoor and outdoor air is key to creating a safe learning environment. So inside, like we talked about, many pollutants can accumulate And if this room isn't getting ventilated, then unfortunately those pollutants are not getting out. In terms, again, for outdoor air quality, if you look at what is listed on here, you can see that it is a major concern for schools. These are all things that you see near a school. So outdoor air quality can also be a major concern for schools, particularly for those located near high traffic areas or industrial sites. Pollution from exhaust, local traffic patterns, pesticide use again, and industrial emissions can seep into schools, affecting the quality of air that students breathe throughout the day. As we see in this image right here, there are over 350 active gas wells within a 1-mile radius of public schools in southwestern PA. These sites can release harmful chemicals into the air, further deteriorating the outdoor air quality and contributing to the health risks that we've mentioned before, asthma, respiratory issues, and even long-term developmental problems. So in conclusion, addressing both the indoor and outdoor air quality is extremely vital to protecting students and staff. Simple measures like improving ventilation, using the non-toxic cleaning products, and also enforcing anti-idling laws and advocating for a 1-mile buffer from industrial sites can make a significant difference in creating healthy learning environments. Okay. Oops. Our next hazard that we are going to be looking at, the health impacts of, are lead in water. So lead contamination in water. Lead can enter drinking water through old plumbing systems. And many schools, particularly older ones, they are all old, are at a high risk of exposure due to the outdated infrastructure. So there are several sources of lead in a school's water supply. The lead pipes and the lead solder. So this was commonly used until 1986. So buildings constructed before then, like most schools, are likely to have lead in their plumbing. Also, the faucet valves and other components made of brass. So even components, fixtures, even plumbing fixtures, made of brass can still contain significant amounts of lead. Brass fixtures, such as the faucets and valves, were allowed to have as much as 20% lead by weight. Until 2014, even lead-free brass faucets could legally contain up to 8% lead. So this means that fixtures installed in many schools prior to 2014, they have high levels of lead, definitely over 20, at least 20 or higher, if they haven't been updated since then. And even if they were updated since 2014, it can still contain up to 8%. So please keep that in mind. So schools are, so why does this impact schools so much? Why is this an issue? So like we said, schools are old. Schools have been around since before the 1970s. But they also have a lengthy and complex plumbing system. So the plumbing systems are long, complex, and that can increase the likelihood of the lead being released into the water. The building, there are multiple buildings over a district. And also, you should also think about the frequent stagnation periods. So water in school systems often sit stagnant over the weekends, holidays, and summer breaks. And when water sits in pipes for extended periods of time, it will increase the chance of lead leaching into that water supply. So, why does this matter? So, lead exposure is one of the most significant environmental threats to children in schools. Schools are unfortunately a common site for this danger because of the older buildings, their complex plumbing system. So, lead is a toxic metal that can affect almost every organ and system in the body. Even low levels of exposure can have serious, severe, and long-lasting effects on children. There is no safe level of lead exposure. which is why it is so important to address the presence of lead in school. Lead exposure is especially harmful to children's developing brains and can cause a range of health issues, such as learning disabilities. It can lead to significant cognitive impairments like lower IQ, memory issues, developmental delays. It can also create behavior issues like ADD or ADHD. Children exposed to lead are more likely to suffer from those, and also the aggression. And if they have these behavior issues, that these can impact their academic performance as well. So also speech delay and hearing problems are another issue that can arise. And also kidney damage. So lead doesn't only affect cognitive and behavioral development, it can also cause physical damage, including kidney damage and harm to the central nervous system. So we just went over 5 serious risks. And despite these serious risks, testing for lead in schools is still often voluntary, which is why it is essential for schools to take the initiative. There are several ways that schools can address these issues and reduce lead exposures. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's move on to our next environmental hazard health impact, which is radon. So what is radon? Radon is a colorless, odorless gas that can be a major health hazard. It is a major health hazard, and it is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. So on the slide, you can see that it's produced by a breakdown of uranium in the soil and rocks. At least 15% of homes in the US have unsafe radon levels. And apparently, radon carries approximately 1,000 times the risk of death as any other EPA carcinogen. So radon in Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania does have the highest radon levels measured in the entire United States. In fact, some counties in PA, such as Lehigh County, have measured levels as high as 17,000. To put that into perspective, the EPA's recommended action level is just 4 right there. It's just 4 PCI. This means that many areas in Pennsylvania far exceed safe limits, making radon testing a crucial step for schools in our state. So on this map, you can see that Pennsylvania falls a lot into the red or orange zones. Red is greater than 4, orange and between 2 and 4, and yellow is less than 2. So highest potential, moderate potential, and low potential. So yes, most of Pennsylvania is highest potential. Allegheny County is right there in the red. So while the EPA strongly recommends that all schools be tested for radon, testing is not always required by law in every state. So approximately 1 in 5 schools have at least one classroom with a high short-term radon level. That means that children are at risk for long-term exposure without even knowing it. And currently, only 11 states have enacted legislation requiring radon testing in schools. And unfortunately, Pennsylvania is not one of them, despite having the highest levels in the country. So this makes voluntary testing all the more crucial for ensuring a safe environment. So I already talked about that. Sorry, let you all see that slide for a second. So what are we doing about it? So we have our Healthy School Recognition Program, but we also have our 1,000 hours a year program. Here is a QR code for it. This is our grant application. So our 1,000 hour a year program specifically works with schools and early learning centers to test and remediate for lead and radon, and to also look at air quality. So we test for the lead in water, we test for the radon, and we will remediate or mitigate if hazards are found. And this is in Allegheny County currently. So if this is something that your school is interested in, please fill out this application. Okay. So our Healthy Schools Recognition Program. This is what our webinar is about today. So this program was designed to celebrate schools that take proactive steps towards creating healthy learning environments. Whether your school is focused on improving air quality, water quality, or reducing environmental toxins, this program is here to support and recognize those efforts. Our goal is to guide schools towards recognition at the state level through the Pennsylvania's Pathways to Green program, and then eventually, hopefully, apply for the federal Green Ribbon Schools program. That's the ultimate goal, and we would love to assist any school with completing that process. So who is eligible? All PA schools, public, charter, and private, are eligible. So everybody, please apply. So within our Healthy Schools Recognition Program, there are 5 categories that we work in. School sustainability, which has 6 subcategories. Air quality, water, waste and recycling, energy, health and well-being, transportation. And then we have school grounds, community engagement, curriculum integration, and administration, which has 4 subcategories. So what do you get if you complete this process? So everyone who partakes in one or more of the activities listed in our Healthy Schools Recognition Program will be distinguished as a participant. There are 3 levels of honors recognition beyond participation. We have the emerging school. They did at least 15, honor roll, at least 30, and high honor roll with distinction. A completion of at least 75 activities. So here's an example of what one of the versions of our checklist look like. So whenever you go through the checklist, you will see these items like, let's find a good one. Here's one. Prohibit pesticide use on school grounds. So if that's something that your school is working on, then that's something that you can check off, and boom, you're already a participant. Say you participated in our 1,000 hours a year program, and that's all you did, then you're a participant as well. But ideally, we would like to get as many check marks off of here as possible. Yes. Go to the next slide. So what tools and resources are available to help you complete these items on this checklist? So the way that we can help you get started. Oh, sorry, I missed this. Let me go back. How can we help you? So we will provide you with, so schools that participate will not only receive public recognition, but they can also experience real benefits, like reduced absenteeism and improved academic performance. Healthier schools will lead to more time in the classroom, fewer missed work days for the parents, and a greater cost savings from the eco-friendly practices like the green cleaning. So we provide a range of tools and resources to help schools meet program criteria. These include workshops on integrated pest management, air quality, radon testing, or many other things. We also have webinars on state and federal funding opportunities where we connect you directly to the program officers that are working on those applications. And we also offer Act 48 credits. This webinar is one of them. So please make sure that you provide us with your email address so we can follow up on making sure you get your credits. Another way that we can help you is there's a check mark, a category for curriculum, and we would like schools to start integrating environmental education into their classrooms. This is part of the STILS PA standards. We have created an eco-student stewardship curriculum, which consists of 4 units, and we have openings to give this curriculum to school districts. The curriculum is for high schoolers. It will be about clean and safe water, air quality and climate change, and waste in our community. All supplies will be provided to the school district and snacks as well. So we're really hoping if anybody is interested, you could reach out to us at the end of this. Our contact information will be there. Also, we have our EPA Air Flag program, and I apologize, I did not put a link or QR code in here, but this one is on our website. We use the air quality flags to look at the ambient air quality of the day, and depending on what the air quality is, if it's red or purple, hopefully not. If it is really bad, then the schools will raise a flag to that color to let everybody know that maybe they should not have recess that much outside, maybe sports should not be played outside. People that have asthma or other respiratory issues should reduce exposure to pollutants that are in the outdoor air at that time. So indoor air quality, we talked about this before, but this is how we can support you on the air quality checklist of this. So I think maybe you can see, so air quality, there's about 20 checks on there. So some things that we could help you do is develop an air quality management plan. We can provide you with some green cleaning products that are third-party certified. We can help you enforce an anti-idling law and even give you signage for it. Practice integrated pest management. Let's stop spraying and start preventing the pest. Other things such as mold prevention, radon testing, which we can do as well. And also try to use non-toxic building materials when you start to build things. Improve the ventilation, so proper ventilation and reduce outside pollutants. So proper ventilation and reduce outside pollutants, this can be something as simple as making sure the trash or chemicals are not stored near air intakes, so that's whatever fumes are coming off of those chemicals are not getting into the air that is then being sourced throughout the school. So how can we address lead in schools? This is how we can help you address lead in schools. As we talked about, testing is voluntary, but the only way you're going to find out if you have lead in school is to conduct a test. So you can do a test. You can install filtered drinking stations. Use cold water for cooking. Test paint chips prior to renovations, especially if your building has not been painted since 1978, and also test soil where children play. If you are in Allegheny County, we can support you with testing for lead in water. So how do you apply? So the application process is simple. Visit our website at healthyschoolspa.org, download the application form. This is the link. There's the QR code. You will need to submit any relevant supporting documentation, such as pictures or proof of the items you're working on. If you need help with the checklist, please feel free to reach out to Samantha or myself. We're here to support you every step of the way, and we can work through this checklist together. So here's some examples of our previous awardees. Some schools are already leading the way. For example, Hance Elementary. Well, I'm going out of order, but that's okay. Hance Elementary achieved high honor roll with distinction and received the prestigious Green Ribbon Award, the federal recognition. They implemented sustainable practice such as using their tree bookshelf and the Eco Student Guide to Healthy Schools. Then we have the Ellis School. They have also made significant strides. They have created a fragrance-free policy. They also hold yearly clothing swaps, and they now compost in their kitchen and cafeteria all of their food. And then we have Eden Hall, Upper Elementary. They are a high honor roll and a Green Ribbon Award. So they have added skylights, trees, and plants that are native to PA. They don't mow their native grass, and they also have an energy savings program. So that's the schools that we've worked with in the past and have been successful, and there are many more. These are just a couple of the ones I wanted to highlight. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? No questions, cool. So go to the next. Here is a survey. Please take this time to either use this URL or scan this QR code, and please take a survey about this experience here. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope that this webinar has inspired you to take the next steps towards creating a healthier, safer learning environment for your students. For more information or assistance with the application, please do not hesitate to reach out. Together, we can create a healthier future for our children. Thank you all very much, and no questions. Okay, bye everybody, thanks.